What if I told you that the biggest secret to getting through airport security in under 5 minutes isn't about luck, isn't about paying for some premium service, and it isn't even about arriving earlier than everyone else. It's about knowing how the system actually thinks, because airport security isn't random. It's designed like a game of psychological chess, where every move you make either slows you down or quietly pushes you to the front. And the truth is, most travelers lose time not because the line is long, but because they unknowingly trigger small delays that build up like quicksand. Imagine this. You're standing in line and you notice some passengers get waved through almost instantly, while others, without even breaking a rule, are pulled aside for extra checks, fumbling, stressing, and sometimes even missing their boarding call. Why does this happen? The secret is that security officers are trained to scan for patterns of behavior more than the contents of your bags, your posture, your rhythm, the way you interact with your belongings, even the way your eyes move when you step up to the conveyor belt. All send signals. If you look rushed, hesitant, or disorganized, you set off what's called a soft flag, which doesn't mean you've done anything wrong, but it makes you appear less predictable, and unpredictability equals extra seconds or minutes of scrutiny. But if you walk with calm purpose, keeping your steps steady and your face neutral, you send the opposite message: predictability, confidence, control. Most people don't know that TSA agents and their international counterparts are less focused on your items than on whether you look like you're hiding something, even if you aren't. And that's why body language is your first key. Now let's talk about positioning, because the lane you choose can make or break your 5-minute dream. 90% of right-handed people unconsciously veer right when given a choice. So the leftmost lane, even if it looks longer, usually moves faster because it's filled with more experienced or left-handed travelers who naturally move quicker. Add this to another overlooked fact. The officers at the very first lane when you enter are often trainees or slower checkers, while the middle or far lanes are staffed by veterans who know how to process efficiently. Picking your lane, then, is more science than chance. But what about your bag? Here's the psychology no one tells you. Security scanners process clean shapes faster than cluttered ones, and when your carry-on is overstuffed with random items, the X-ray operator has to spend precious seconds adjusting the scan, zooming in, and sometimes even re-scanning. That's why organized packing isn't about neatness, it's about speed. Put flat electronics like laptops and tablets in easily reachable sleeves and group metallic objects like keys, coins, and chargers in a transparent pouch placed right on top, so you unload in one smooth movement instead of fishing around your pockets like everyone else. Those extra 30 seconds you save here are often the difference between waiting and moving on. Now here's a secret even frequent flyers rarely notice. Security efficiency fluctuates with staff fatigue. Officers working at peak midday shifts after hours of scanning endless bags unconsciously slow down, just like a cashier at the end of a long shift. But the early morning crew, fresh on rotation, processes faster, often without you realizing. Similarly, late-night flights often catch staff at the start of a new rotation, which means your odds of flying through security are higher than during the midday rush. Timing your flights with this in mind is a hidden hack that can save you minutes that add up to hours over a lifetime of travel. Let's add one more psychological trick. When you step forward, keep your ID and boarding pass in your left hand, not your right. Why? Because most agents sit or stand on the right-hand side. So when you hold your documents in your right hand, you force an awkward exchange or hesitation. Left-hand presentation smooths the transfer, signaling preparation, efficiency, and reducing friction. Tiny detail, big effect. Another layer to this is the unspoken rule of confidence equals clearance. If you approach the scanner with hesitation, asking too many questions, or double-checking rules, you slow yourself down. But if you place your bag, step through, and keep your movements minimal, you blend into the rhythm of the fast movers. Airports are designed to funnel uncertainty to the side. Uncertainty is literally what makes lines drag, so your goal is to appear certain. Now think about this. Have you ever noticed that sometimes agents wave random people into secondary screening even though they look perfectly normal? That's not random. It's about balancing the flow of the line. When a certain lane is moving too quickly, agents will deliberately pull someone aside to equalize pace across the checkpoint. Which means the trick is not to look like the random easy catch. If you move slightly ahead of the pack, keeping just enough space from the person in front, you're less likely to be chosen as the balancer. Subtle spacing can literally shield you. And here's something wild. Some airports use what are called micro-surveillance cues, cameras that watch how passengers behave in line before they even reach the checkpoint. These systems track how often you check your phone, shuffle your feet, or adjust your bag. Consistent, calm behavior gets marked as low risk, while restless fidgeting triggers attention. So even before you set foot in front of an officer, you've already been evaluated. Which means your 5-minute clearance doesn't begin at the conveyor belt. It begins the moment you join the line. Imagine how different your experience becomes once you know that. Most people, even seasoned travelers, miss this detail. And that's why, while they're still unpacking their pockets one item at a time, you're already collecting your bag and heading to your gate, calm, early, and stress-free. This isn't magic, and it's not breaking rules. It's simply knowing how the system is designed, how human behavior works, and how to position yourself as the predictable traveler. Every airport wants to move quickly. The truth is, once you master these subtle tactics, lane choice, bag design, body language, timing, and spacing, airport security stops being a stressful unknown and becomes a predictable process you can beat. And here's the final secret no one else will tell you. Airports actually want certain travelers to move through in under 5 minutes because their efficiency helps balance the system. But they'll never announce who or how, because if everyone knew, the trick would collapse. That's why those who understand these hidden dynamics enjoy smoother, faster travel, while everyone else stays trapped in frustration. So the question is, the next time you walk into an airport, will you blend into the herd that waits endlessly, or will you glide through in 5 minutes flat, armed with secrets that most passengers, and even many frequent flyers, will never know?